Hi all my crafting friends, welcome back to Sweet Bay Lane. Or if you're new, welcome, I'm Tracy. And I'm so glad you took the time to stop in and craft with us, because the spooky cute Halloween DIY craft project in this video is definitely going to have you picking up some of those haunted house wood cutouts from the Dollar Tree. So let's go ahead and get started. These are some of the supplies I picked up from the Dollar Tree. 2 of the wood house cutouts, one of the larger ones and one of the smaller ones, and this wood plank, also from the Dollar Tree. We start our project by painting our wood plank a black. I'm going to be using this black acrylic paint by Anita's that can be found at Hobby Lobby. And once we get that painted, we then bring in our smaller wood cutout house, and we're going to paint that black as well, both sides. And then we come in with our larger house and paint it black as well on both sides. Once we have all 3 pieces painted, we set them aside to dry. Then we're going to move on to our next supply in this DIY, and that's going to be these tumbling tower blocks from the Dollar Tree. And for this step, we're just going to take 2 of the blocks and glue them together, making one piece. So once we're done gluing our tumbling tower blocks together, we'll have 5 sets of 2 and 4 single blocks. And once we have that done, we're then going to come in with our black acrylic paint and paint them all black. Okay, that's perfect. We set those aside and we bring back in our smaller wood cutout house, in which we are going to glue a book page, which I actually got this from a Google search, and I just printed it out on some printer paper. And we are going to attach it with some of this Elmer's purple glue stick. Just make sure to cover the back side of your paper and then attach it to the front side of your house. Once we have our paper glued on the front, we're then going to come in with a pair of scissors and just trim off the excess paper from around the house. Then we'll come in with a piece of sandpaper and just clean up the edges. Okay, that looks perfect. Now I want to add a little age and spookiness to my house. So I'm going to bring in a little chip brush here, and we're going to just take some of that black acrylic paint and just swirl it with the dry brush around the edges and the center of our house. This adds the perfect spooky touch. I like to come in with a light touch at first, and then I get a little heavier as I go along. Because you can always put more, but you can't take it away. Okay, now that we have that done, we bring back in our wood plank and we're just going to distress it with some sandpaper. Once we have our plaque sanded, we'll set it aside for a moment. Then we're going to come in with some of those Dollar Tree Halloween rub-on transfers, and we're going to add some little spookiness to our house. Hey, and if you like what you see so far, don't forget to subscribe. We'd love to have you here at Sweet Bay Lane. I think these little rub-on decals add the perfect spooky touch. Now, I wanted to add a little welcome sign to my house, but as you can see, this one didn't really work out. So I shifted gears and decided to use this Enter If You Dare. I just printed it out on a piece of cardstock and cut it out. And attached it with some of the Elmer's glue stick. Once it's attached and dried, I then came in with the black acrylic paint and aged that as well. I think it's looking really cute. I also took the liberty and added some more of the Dollar Tree rub-ons, and I think it looks fantastic. Now we're going to be moving on to the really fun part of our project, and that's going to be building our haunted house diorama. And to do this, we're going to start with our smaller house, and we're going to put it on the front part of our wood plank. We're going to make sure it's lined up. We're going to fold it forward. Then we're going to take the single tumbling tower blocks, and we're going to glue them down to the base of our project, which is going to be our black wood plank, making sure that they're lined up on the bottom of our wood house. We're then going to come in and add a bead of hot glue to the top edge of our tumbling tower blocks. And then attaching our house. And once we get that done, we'll set it aside and we're going to bring back in our larger black house. And for this one, I'm going to be using this paint pen and add a stitch effect around my house. I then come in and add a little trim of white around each window. And then once we're done with that, we'll then flip our house over. We're going to bring back in our double stacked tumbling tower blocks, and we're going to glue them to the back side of our house, making sure that they are lined up with the bottom edge of our house. And as you'll see, I ended up using just 4 of the double-stacked tumbling tower blocks. And once we have that done, we then bring back in our wood plank with our smaller house on it, and we're going to attach the larger house behind the smaller house, just making sure to leave maybe a 2.5 inch gap between the houses. And now we're going to come in and hide that little hanger hole with this adorable little raffia and black and white gingham bow. This adds the perfect cute spooky touch. Look at how cute that is. Okay, now we're going to be moving on and we're going to be coming in with our lights. You're going to need 3 of the votive battery operated kind of flickering lights. And for this, we're going to take our lights and we're going to wrap the light part with some painter's tape and then come in with some black spray paint and paint the bases. I'm going to be using this Blackout by Color Shot. And once we have our 3 tea lights painted, we're then going to come in and paint one of these puck lights. Now these I got from Walmart in a pack of I believe 6, and they come battery operated with a remote control. You also get the batteries, which I really love. Now we're going to come in and we're going to paint the outside of this black, but first we have to cover our light with some painter's tape. And once we have our puck painted, we then remove the painter's tape, and as you'll see, we have a set of 4 lights with that beautiful matte black finish. Now we're moving on to adding some of these Velcro fastener dots from the Dollar Tree to the back side of our puck light. This way it makes it much easier to change our batteries when we need to. Okay, and once that's done, we bring back in our haunted house diorama, and we're going to glue our puck light right in the middle of our larger house, directly above the middle lower window. That is perfect, and you can just change your batteries very easily now. And once we have our puck light glued in, we're then just going to take our little tea lights and slide them between the 2 houses. And as you'll see, it looks adorable. I do have footage of it at night and it is so gorgeous, so hang in there for that. But you can see the remote control comes in very handy. I love how this turned out, and I hope it inspires you to make one of your own. Well, until next week, keep it crafty.